So thank you for taking the time to join us as we continue on this unprecedented journey through the global pandemic. We hope you guys are all staying safe, and we just want to remind you that we at GoDaddy are all here to help you continue to run your business successfully. For those of you that may be joining us for the first time, this is a webinar for our reseller partners where we cover product and marketing updates. I have a couple things to cover before we jump into the main topics for today. The first thing is my introduction as the newest addition to the team. My name's Alexa, and I'm in charge of reseller engagement. And I've been with GoDaddy for 6 years, but recently transitioned over to the reseller team. And so I will be in charge of announcements within the RCC, managing content in the resource portal, all types of communications for resellers, and everything having to do with product and feature launches. And my background revolves around working with managed service providers, IT companies, and other companies of that sort. So I'm very excited to be a part of the reseller team here. And then secondly, I hope you also the email we sent out yesterday regarding the new promotion that's rolling out for resellers. We know COVID has taken a toll on businesses and affected budgets for the upcoming years. So we're really excited to allow you to offer relief to your customers by opting into our new promotion. Customers who have products coming up for renewal in the next 60 days will either have a 20% or 35% discount applied to the regular retail price of their renewed products. And it's up to you whether you opt in for 20% or 35% discounts, but your customer must call into care to ask for the discount to be applied for their renewals. You'll have until July 13th to opt in, and the promotion's gonna run from July 21st through August 20th. Where you can opt in is within the promotions tab in the RCC, and the renewal term of products is up to 1 year, and the promotion applies only to products and not domains. As always, we stand with you, and we want to make sure that we provide the tools to help your business remain successful, especially during these tough times. So now we can get into the webinar topics. And the first topic is one that has drummed up quite a bit of discussion: the newly released changes to privacy. We have our VP of Domains Registrar, Paul, and the Domain Site Marketing Director, Tolly, here to review each tier, meaning the good, better, and best options available for customers. And our Senior Product Manager, Chelsea, will cover the upcoming migrations. And then once they're done talking about privacy, we'll move on to our second topic, which is the new cart experience that's already tested really well with a subset of customers. And we have our software engineer, Terrence, who will run through a demo to show you what this looks like. So a couple of quick reminders before we get started. If you have questions, please enter them in the Q&A section, and we will wait until the presentation is over to address all questions. All presenters will be monitoring Q&A as well, and we will answer the questions that are pertinent to each of them. If there's a question we're unable to answer during the webinar, we may address it during a later webinar, or we can address it in the community, which is monitored by Andy. Also, a reminder that this webinar will be recorded and posted to our YouTube channel as well as the resource portal. So if you need to drop, no worries, you can find the recording there. So without further ado, I'm going to switch my slides and hand it over to Paul to talk about privacy.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks, Alexa, for the intro. So what Tali and I wanted to cover today is some of the changes that we announced early June when it comes to our privacy offering and our privacy solutions to all of our domain customers globally. I know you've received a few communications, but we wanted to go live through all the changes, giving you some background as to why we made those changes and what it's going to mean for our customers going forward. So why are we making those changes? We've been looking at this for actually quite a long time, which is to offer additional privacy to our customers for free and to give them the WHOIS masking for all of their personal information into the WHOIS. And why this? Because this provides a much better customer experience. It protects them against spam and unsolicited requests. And it's really give them it really avoid them to have all their personal information public. So as we were doing, so really it's all about really developing and really driving a much better customer experience for our customers. But as you know, we were for a long time we've been offering a privacy services, which is called domain by proxy, and by offering free whois masking, basically it really diminished the value of domain by proxy, and we had to find alternative solutions to our customers. So our position and our strategy has been to evolve from a privacy offering to protection offering, and we're going to give you more details in the next slide, and to give them a strong replacement and strong offering for what they have today. It definitely are going to help us to be a lot more competitive against all other competing registrars who have been, for most of them, doing that for a very long time. So it was a competitive gap. And it's also allow us to stay ahead of any new regulatory requirements. It all started, as you all know, with GDPR 2 years ago. And there's been a set of new privacy laws that have been enacted around the globe, starting in California, and we know that there are more coming. So that's why we decided to make the move and to make the move globally. So let's go into next slide. Let's go to what it means exactly. So we have evolved our lineup to what we call the good, better, best, where as the customers step up, we're giving them additional protection. And it's all about, as I said, shifting from privacy to protection. So now, starting in June, every domains come with what we call the basic privacy protection. And what it means that the personal information of their domain remains private. And what do we mean by personal information? That's the name, the phone number, the email, and the address. That information won't be disclosed, won't be displayed publicly in the GoDaddy whois. That's what it means. So all the information is going to remain private. And that comes now with every domains, with a few exceptions. But we realize that customers, there's opportunity to provide a lot more protection to the domain holders. And so we have created these two new add-on packages that any customers can add to their domain purchase. The first one is what we call full privacy and protection. And basically, it provides two benefits. One, it extends the renewal protection in the event of a billing failure at time of renewal or an expired credit card. Basically, we, on behalf of the customers, we're going to extend the renewal of the domain if the domain is on auto renew. And so think about this like an insurance. It's an insurance for your domain, right? It's like buying insurance for your domain, and to make sure that your domain and your service and your business is going to keep running, and is going to stay up, is going to keep running, even if a failed billing agent on expired credit card happens. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit is going to protect against phishing and hijacking attacks. We are adding additional locks. We are adding additional protection in case of hijacking and phishing. That's the second benefit. And as you know, we've seen increased phishing or hijacking attacks lately, and it makes almost impossible for the domain to be transferred away or to be phished. So that's really the two benefits of that package. And then there's another, then customers can step up to what we call ultimate security and protection, which provides those two benefits: renewal protection and phishing and hijacking protection, plus additional security protection for the site owners. It provides malware protection and it provides security monitoring. So those two packages are available to any customers. The first one cost $9.99 new and renewal. It's the same price for new and renewal. And the second one costs $14.99 new, and it renews at $29.99. So this is the new lineup, and we've seen very good engagement and very good success of this offering. This is something that we've tested for a very long time, especially in the GDPR regions. We've done a lot of user research and a lot of live testing, and this is a lineup that definitely resonates with customers, and that definitely makes sense. Next slide. So of course, we had a lot of existing customers who had either paid privacy, which is what we call domain by proxy, or who had paid privacy and protection. Okay, so as we evolving the lineup, we had to give them an opportunity to migrate them to these new packages. So every new customers, since domain by proxy is not going to be available as a standalone product, are going to be migrated to one of those two packages. So if a customers, and there are three use cases, if a customers had no privacy with a domain, okay, they are now getting free basic privacy protection. It all started beginning of June, and that's now by default. If a customers had a domain with paid privacy with DBP, they're going to be migrated, if they are willing to the full privacy and protection package. If a customers had DOP, Domains Ownership Protection, they're going to be migrated to the ultimate privacy and protection package. So how this is working out from a customer standpoint? We did email all the customers on early June about the upcoming migration. We did send out an email to all of them, explaining to them the rationale and the reason behind the migration, and telling them what the additional benefits of those new packages. As part of the messaging to them, we told them that one, the migration will be seamless. It will happen at no cost. Basically, they will the price of the new packages are exactly the same price than what they were getting before. And three, they didn't have to take any actions. We will do anything on their behalf. However, they had an opportunity to upgrade out of the migration. And so basically, now we are in this, which started at the end of June, and for 1 month. Every customer have a 30-day opt-out period in which they can decide to opt out of the migration. And if they opt out of the migration, basically their domain will just come with basic privacy protection. At the end of the opt-out period, we're going to start the migration, and if the customers have decided not to opt out. Customers who have decided to opt out are going to receive a prorated refund at the end of July. And basically what we're going to do is at that time is we're going to issue the prorated refund, and we're going to cancel their add-on product if they had decided to opt out. Once the migration is finalized at the end of August, we're going to notify them again to let them know that the migration has been successful, and we're going to give them a second opportunity to opt out. So this is going to open a second opt-out window of 30 days, and that will probably start at the end of August until end of September. And then same thing at the end of September, any customers who have decided to opt out, we will cancel the product, and we will give them a prorated refund.
All right, so to add on to what Paul was just going over is kind of just a simplified view of what it will look like for the customer, that they have private registration, there's a migration window, they'll be at full privacy. What I wanted to call out here is that you should be checking in your RCC to make sure that your retail rates for private registration are close or the same to that of full domain privacy. Reason I call that out is because you don't want your customers being startled when their renewal comes up that that full domain privacy is, you know, $20 more expensive or something like that, that they'll just cancel it and you'll lose that commission. I do want to call out that when the full and ultimate privacy were rolled out, they had pretty high price points associated with them. They were moved back into a more normal realm that it's actually, I believe, about 50 cents more expensive buy rate than just the private registration used to be, but minimum and suggested are still the same as what it used to be. And that's for pro resellers. Basic, I think it's a difference of $1 on the minimum. But it should be all right within the lines of what customers are used to and what you're used to pricing that out as. So just go double check those prices to make sure that that they match up or are very, very close. And that's I think all we got for reviewing privacy. If you have any questions, feel free to enter it into the Q&A section. And once we do the cart demo, we will go through all Q&A. So with that, I'll hand it over to Terrence to show us our new cart experience.
All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. Looks good.
All right, so what you are seeing here today is the reseller cart experience as it exists today. So most of you are probably familiar with this, where we have payment, you know, the item section and billing all in one page, just in kind of the multiple columns. And so our goal with the new experience was to kind of simplify and reduce the cognitive load on the customer so that they're focusing on one thing at a time. So if I go to the new experience here, you can see we've reverted to a one column experience where we're going step by step. The first step is just basket. And this is due to kind of learnings we've learned by experimenting on the GoDaddy site, where the first thing customers are looking to do when they hit the cart is not payment, as you see on the old one, but actually seeing their items, interacting with them, changing terms, and cross sells. So the first step now is basket, which is kind of a net new there, at which point they can then proceed to checkout. You'll see here we have, again, the sign in step on its own page. I will go and sign in here. If you have billing information or you have payment, we'll automatically skip those steps. In this case, I have billing info, but not payment, so it'll stop me here. At which point then I go to this complete step, which looks pretty similar to, you know, the first step in the old experience. If at this point I do want to make any edits, I can still go back to those steps. So billing was the step I skipped before, but if there were any edits I can make, you'll see it here in the single column view, at which point you can then continue on. Same with payment. I hit payment. You can make any edits again, reducing, you know, the number of things that are on the screen to kind of help on that task completion for the customer. And the second part to this is mobile. You can again see, I'll flip back to the old experience on mobile. First thing customers will see is payment. You have to scroll quite far just to see your items in the cart. And now I'll go back to the new experience. You kind of had a header, and you know, this text will evolve over time so that we can kind of guide the customer to what they're seeing. But this first page, you'll see, hey, this is your shopping cart, these are your items, this is your subtotal, promo, kind of the most common actions, at which point then they can proceed through these steps as normal. And then again, they'll see the normal review and complete step, at which point they can complete their purchase. Any questions?
Yeah, and I know this has been being tested on GoDaddy customers for a while, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, we've been doing testing over the past couple months, and the plan then is to, once we complete that testing, roll it out to our reseller customers here, maybe in the next few weeks or a month or so.
Sounds good. So, and I know that the testing was really strong on helping our customers, and by our customers, I'm talking about GoDaddy customers getting through the experience, and that's why we're wanting to roll it out to our resellers' experience for their customers. So, so be seeing that, like Taryn said, in the next few weeks, over next few weeks or month or so. As soon as their current test complete. So, and is there any questions that have come in?
If there's any questions, feel free to type them in the Q&A portion. I did see one question pop up in the chat that Tolly took care of, asking what is DOP, and she confirmed that it's domain ownership protection.
Do you mind expanding on that a bit of like what domain ownership protection entails?
Yeah, I can talk about this. So domain ownership protection was actually our old name. Okay, we've renamed that for the two protection benefits that I've been talking about in the package, which is one, the renewal protection, and two, the phishing and the hijacking protection. We used to call that DOP, domain ownership protection, and now it's part of the new package that we called full privacy and protection. So that's
perfect.
What DOP is.
Okay, any other questions, any other burning questions that anyone wants to get answered on this webinar? Feel free to type them in the Q&A portion. And one thing that I did want to mention is that Andy is monitoring the community, and we see all of your questions and concerns that pop up within the community rodeo. And so he has been doing a really great job of compiling all of the questions and trying to get back to you guys personally as the questions arise. So that is one thing that, you know, if you have a question that pops up later that you can't think of right now, feel free to post it in the community, and we'll have Angie address it, or one of our other experts when they're available.
That's good.
So it doesn't look like any other questions are popping up. So I do just want to, maybe one more. What about when a product needs deleting? Was the question.
This is in reference to the new card, I presume. So the item cards still have the delete mechanism. We are planning on kind of, you know, enhanced features for mobile specifically, but the delete button hasn't moved.
Good to know. That could be definitely something that users would need in case they add something accidentally or add something twice. All right, so if there's any other questions, feel free to type them in. As a reminder, this webinar is recorded, and I'm going to post it to our YouTube channel as well as the resource portal. So if you need to revisit, or if you have any desire to watch this again, feel free to look at both of those portals, and you can find the recording there. Oh, we do have another question that came in. Can I invoice the clients from the platform for sold domains?
So we do not currently have a option for you to send a separate invoice. If you're thinking of any services that you perform, it is only the option of like them going through the cart experience.
Okay, thanks, Chelsea.
Yeah.
All right, so again, this will be recorded. Also, I do want to talk about, just want to remind everyone that if you do want to opt in to that promotion for your customers, allowing them to get 20% discount or 35% discount on their renewals, You do have until July 13th to opt into that promotion, and you can do that in your RCC. All right, another question came up. So how does this work with WordPress?
I can answer that as well. So this is a question, I zoom around the cart, that it's going to work the same way as today, that when you have built a custom WordPress site, that you're going to be adding, or your customer is going to be adding something to the cart. When they get to that cart page, it's going to be this new experience that that Terrence just demoed. So it's like today, but instead of that that different look and feel to the cart that we have today, it's going to be the new updated one.
Great, thank you. Okay, so last call for questions. If there's any other questions from anyone that's on the webinar, feel free to type them in the Q&A portion. We know that this webinar was supposed to cover managed SSL. That product launch has been delayed a little bit, but we are hoping to get that webinar here going, shortly in the near future. Very excited about that product to be released. So stay tuned for us to post the date for that webinar. One more question that came up in the Q&A, will there ever be package pricing in the cart?
Hoping you could expand on that. I'm not sure I understand if you're talking about like a bundle of products that once it reaches the cart, it has different prices, maybe? I'm not, okay. So we actually did do a bundle promotion, but here's the issue with how we had done it, that basically we learned a lot and we need to do better at how we do that. Because right now we only have the functionality of adding one product to the cart at a time. And when we're looking at doing bundles, it ended up being the way it was implemented was if they had added 3 of the products that were in the promotion to the cart, then they would see better pricing. But the real issue is actually before the cart, in that how do we communicate it to the customer that these are like, that you should add these 3 products to your cart. And we didn't have a good solution on the standard storefront to do that, to be adding multiple. It is something that we want to do, but it's on the backlog. We have a few things that are higher priority, and but we do have every intention of allowing bundles at some point in the future, but we'll announce that and let you know. It's the reason that it can't be added right now all at once is just the way that we have things set up right now.
All right,
So,
thanks Chelsea for,
yeah.
for getting that couple-parter question there.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, looks like they'll be glad when it comes. So, I mean, we love suggestions of how to make things a little bit more streamlined, and love hearing what you guys need and want. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. So, but like we said, the managed SSL, hopefully you'll be seeing it very soon. And we'll post that webinar as soon as, or the invite to the webinar as soon as we're able to get a solid date for you.
Yep, and you'll see that invite in the RCC as well as posted in the community by Andy.
That's good.
So if there's no more questions, it looks like it's blank in the Q&A section. So I think we addressed all of the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you again so much for joining, to all of our attendees, and then thank you for the speakers, or thank you to the speakers for joining and giving us that great info. And we'll see you on the next webinar. And I look forward to hosting all of the future reseller webinars. Again, I'm Alexa. I'm in charge of reseller engagement. So you'll be hearing from me more often going forward. Oh, question on when is the next webinar? We don't have that scheduled, but again, just check in the RCC and then also pop into the community to see that next date. And yeah, we'll keep you guys in the loop.
Sounds good. Have a great day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Bye.